This is Gamer Weekly, bringing you the latest of what the video game scene has to offer. On this episode of Gamer Weekly, I have Elizabeth, also known as Virgo, and we're going to be talking about her game, Water Planet. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Gamer Weekly. With me today is Elizabeth. Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Hello, yeah, thank you for having me.
So Elizabeth is also known as Virgo on the interwebs. She makes electronic music, but she is also creating a game called Water Planet. So what is Water Planet about?
Yes, of course. Well, Water Planet is a first-person exploration game set in a galaxy nearly 70 million light years from Earth. And here you will find resources to fuel your journey onwards. And while you're there, you'll meet a very friendly alien that follows you around and leads you to where you need to go. And it's a very lighthearted adventure. And while you're exploring, you get to listen to the music that I made for an EP by the same name, also called Water Planet.
And so when you're playing the game, is the music going on in the background, or does it help you like solve puzzles? How exactly is it integrated in the game?
Yeah, that's the interesting part because it's a bit of both. So the music is the soundtrack as well as the adaptive ambiences for different areas throughout the game. And then additionally, it is a part of some of the puzzles that are in the game. There's a few very, very simple puzzles, and they play off of the music.
And so what made you want to make a game that is incorporated with your music?
Yeah, so I've been a lifelong gamer, and I've always really enjoyed level design and that sort of stuff. And I had begun making these levels, and I was filming inside of Unreal Engine, creating visuals for my live performances. And from there, I kind of had the groundwork for a game, and I had a friend who had showed me his visual video game album, and I was really inspired by it. And from there, I just dove in and started programming basic doors and things, and that was really it. And all of a sudden, I kind of had a game. And since then, I've been developing it more, and I have added VR to it now, and actual characters, and a story, and gameplay, and simple puzzles. But all of that was through a kind of evolution of working through getting to know the engine and feeling out what I really wanted in the game. And all of that at the same time is very much inspired by the music and the lyrics and the kind of space that I came from while creating the music itself.
So for those that haven't heard your music yet, how would you describe the sound?
Right. So it's very much electronic. I use all synthesized elements and my voice, and it's dancey in a way, but I've kind of named it by a new genre. It's called ocean tech. So it incorporates elements of kind of trance and sort of techno, but it's also very like bleepy, bloopy sort of textures. And then the vocals are kind of distant, echoey, and yeah, I mean, ocean tech. That's what I call it. It's ocean tech.
I've never heard someone describe their sound as bleepy bloopy. So
yeah, there's a specific sequence that I've used in a few of my songs, and it just sounds like a computer kind of beeping and making little sounds like an R2-D2.
So you guys actually have your own record label too.
Yeah.
So how did that whole thing, how did that start up for you?
Yeah, basically my partner and his best friend have been making music for years under many different projects. And in about 2012, they established the record label. And that was around the same time that I met them, and I was doing video work for them, filming music videos. And from there, the record label has just slowly become a creative house for a few different mediums. I mean, mostly music, but now video games. And that will be a very permanent addition to our roster of creative projects.
So, do you plan on maybe incorporating VR into Water Planet?
Oh, no, absolutely. It already is. We already have been testing with the Oculus and HTC Vive, so it'll be fully compatible for VR. And the interesting thing is that we wanted to have a parallel between the VR and desktop versions, so they actually are almost entirely identical. There's just a few interactions that are different in VR, but as far as story and gameplay, it's nearly parallel to the desktop version.
Which VR platform do you prefer more? Do you prefer the Vive or the Rift?
Yeah. I mean, both are great. There's really great aspects of Oculus, like the whole interface, and I especially like their demo project. Has this like little robot in this 80s trailer, and it's really adorable. But personally, I like the actual image of the HTC Vive. I think it's crisper. And also the field of view is much larger, and that's way better for immersion. So I lean towards preferring the HTC Vive at this time, but open to what Oculus will come out in the future.
I wish I had a room to actually like use the HTC Vibe in, because
Oh yeah, you really need the space because then you can move around, and that's the best part.
like it feels like the rich man's VR experience. You have to have a whole room dedicated to having this gaming experience, and I have like a sliver of space in my room. I can't imagine that I could actually even use such a device.
I know. I'm really just waiting for that Ready Player One scenario where the Oasis comes out and there's access for everyone. Because right now there just is not. And maybe even if you buy the HTC Vive, you might not have a system that can even run it. So we're just in the early phase of that whole movement in the technology. And I'm just really excited for us to like push forward faster.
I just hope we don't have to live in towering trailer parks.
Yeah, that would not be ideal, but yeah, man, let's see. Let's just take care of the planet and hopefully we won't get there.
You heard it here first. Take care of the planet so we don't end up in trailer parks. Well, giant.
No, not exactly like that.
Yeah, because I actually just started reading Ready Player One, so I slowly have been trying to read it.
Oh, you're not through it. Okay, then I will not say any more.
No spoilers.
No.
The trailer park thing's not a spoiler. It's on the front cover of the book,
This is true.
which I didn't even pick up too until like after I read that part and I looked on the front cover. I was like, oh, that's what that is. So, because I'm terrible at reading books. Like I have to be in a room of silence and I'm never in it. So I'm just like, all right, I'll just not read, I guess. So,
Oh man, that was one of the first books where I found myself like I get really bad sickness, and I found myself just taking it everywhere. I was walking down the street reading it. I was in a car reading it, like everywhere, and I couldn't put it down. So
they're making a movie of it too. So
I can't wait. I'm thoroughly excited. And I'm also really disappointed because I came across an article a while back that they had sent out a call for people to send in their avatars to be in the movie. And when I found the article, it was a year late. I was so sad.
man, so close. We'll just make our own Ready Player One.
Yeah, exactly. You get a taste of it in Altspace, which is fun.
Yeah, I'm just afraid that it's gonna like if we ever have that kind of VR experience, that we might end up in like a Sword Art Online kind of scenario where we're stuck in the VR.
I mean, yeah. That's. I mean, Ready Player One touches on all of that stuff, so you'll see once you get through it.
I gotta go find my book too because I lost it, and so that's why I haven't been reading more of it. I
No.
I put it in a.
I
I don't know what. I don't know why I did it.
well, I've yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to find it.
I will after we're done recording. I will go and try and look for that book because I have no idea where it could even be at. So for the game for Water Planet, you it's just you and your partner that are making the game.
Yeah, just two of us. And then, I mean, our other partner that helps with that's a part of the record label. He is thoroughly important because he does all the testing and helps with like polishing everything. So it's really three of us that are like the core team, but the two of us are the ones that like are here late night, basically just like glued to the computer.
What engine are you guys using for this? Is it something you guys made, or are you guys using like Unreal or?
Ooh, for a while we were running a custom build of Unreal Engine, but now I think we're about on one of the latest editions. But yeah, Unreal Engine. That's what we use.
So what made you want to use Unreal over other engines?
I mean, at the time, uh, the access to Unreal Engine was, I mean, around the time that I started using it, about 3 years ago now, it had become subscription based. So it just was very reasonable to, you know, uh, get a subscription and download it already. And now it doesn't even require a subscription. So it was really just access and I mean, even now after I really connect with Tim Sweeney's ideology about the engine and how he's obsessed with maintaining open source and creating a platform for artists, creatives, and developers to be able to use. And I think it's just a really admirable company also.
I also like that a lot of other companies are doing that as well, that whole subscription based thing. So you don't have to pay like, a grand to use a program that you may or may not use for a while.
Yeah, I mean, some of these companies, I think in the back in the day, they were like 20 grand for a subscription for a company or something. So that, I mean, I guess if you have a large budget, tacking that on isn't so bad. But for us indie developers, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's horrible. Because I remember when Adobe and stuff, like, you had to spend like $700 if you wanted to use Audition, and now it's like $50 a month, which is a lot better in the initial startup for that. So
Yeah, the Adobe Cloud, that's saved everything for me. Like being able to just have a subscription for that is great.
yeah, I wouldn't have gotten my degree if it wasn't for Creative Cloud, because my project got messed up, and it was like the last minute too, and so I had to go and find Creative Cloud and start it up and make my whole project again because I couldn't get into the lab because it was like 3 a.m.
Oh
So
my gosh.
so so Adobe saved me and destroyed me at like the same time. So it was a really conflicting feeling that I was having with that whole experience for that. So so are you planning on incorporating a lot of the elements of what you're doing for game development in your live performances as well?
Yeah, I want to now, since I've just been wrapping my head around all that technology. Now I'm really rethinking how the live music should be experienced, and I do want to create like a VR live experience that I could tour with. That would be amazing. But even then, the great thing about VR is that it can be streamed, so I can just be in my studio and then have a live performance for anyone around the world that they can come to in VR.
And plus, you'll have a good spot at wherever you're at, because you don't have to worry about a guy that's slightly
Yeah,
taller
you'll
than
be
you,
front row no matter what.
and you don't have anyone pushing into you.
Yeah. Actually, I went to a live show in Altspace like about a week ago, and it was pretty rowdy. Like people were getting really crazy with their glow sticks because, I mean, and it's weird because like, you notice a lot of people like they keep their personal space, but then when there's so many, like you just start clipping into avatars, and it's just that's how it goes.
Virtual mosh pits.
Yeah.
It's, you get the fun of a mosh pit, but you don't get the bruises of one, which, I mean, for some that might be
Well,
the best part of it, but
depending if you don't clear your play space. I've fallen sometimes in VR or tripped over things or just thought a table was there and it wasn't, and things happen.
the only VR experience that I have is like the Oculus thing that came with like the Galaxy S7, and
Um,
I mean, it's for what it is. Like, it's really good for like for like $100 headset. Like, it's not bad, but um, most of the games require a controller, and I didn't have one, and they didn't give you one. And I'm like, why did you even give me this thing? Like, this doesn't make any
wow,
sense.
that's a disappointment.
But I mean, I found a controller, and so now I'm like, I'm ready to play the scary games that I couldn't play before. I'm also not.
That's right, because when I got the Oculus, it was just earlier this year, and the controllers had just came out on the market, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So that was for like the touch and stuff, like the VR, the Oculus Touch. I think that's what it was.
right.
But yeah, no. So I totally lost my train of thought. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
VR.
So where can people find your music?
Right. Music, basically every platform, all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, and then SoundCloud, YouTube, all of that. Everything is basically whatever website slash Future Virgo.
Sweet. So
Yeah.
So everybody out there, I highly recommend checking out Virgo's music. I was actually listening to it on the way here, and it's pretty awesome. It's very trancy feeling. You definitely feel like you're in a different world, which works since, it's going to be about a game, like in a different world. So really highly recommend checking it out. I also recommend speech classes for myself because I don't know how to talk apparently. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming onto the show. I greatly appreciate it, especially on this, as we're recording it, it's Memorial Day. So I appreciate you coming out on this holiday. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
and anybody that wants to check out Water Planet, go onto Steam and you can add it to your wish list, and it should be coming out
Very soon.
very soon. Awesome. So if you enjoyed this episode, if you found this on YouTube, yes, it's a static image. I am sorry, we don't really know what we're doing yet for YouTube. So eventually we'll have videos. I didn't shower today, so I didn't want to record myself and look like a scrub, especially not your first impression of seeing me. So it's all audio. Just kind of like have it off in the background while you're doing other things, but still pay attention to what I'm talking about too. So it's a really complicated thing there. But thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to everything, and also follow the Twitter page. We do giveaways on there now. And yeah, who knows? You might end up with a game that could blow your mind. I don't know. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.